What's up, Trainiacs? Welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday. In this week's edition of Newsday Tuesday, pro triathletes are retiring, triathlon goes indoors in a big sort of way, and Texas just can't have swimming involved in a triathlon. It's a damn shame. It's a darn shame, as they'd say in Texas. Just got a bunch of unsubscribes, I bet. What's up, triathletes? Welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where every single Tuesday we go over news happening in the triathlon world from the previous week. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video, where, as always, we go over everyone's favorite part from Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, and that is a story from the Trainiac community. Also, buried in all these nuggets of information, we've got a giveaway for you. All right, let's get into it. Starting off with Liz Blatchford. Now, this isn't necessarily news. This was known before Kona, but I'm just getting around to it now because it's kind of just been trickling around all of the news channels. But Liz Blatchford is officially retiring from competitive international triathlon racing after 18 years in the sport. Liz Blatchford has been a fixture on the triathlon scene for the longest time. She has had 4 Kona appearances, 2 podium finishes, and 3 top 10s in Kona, and probably, in my opinion, features the best abs in the sport. Very impressive, especially for Liz, considering that she just had her first kid over the last year. Still got those abs. I'm jealous. Just ripped. Lifetime Triathlon announced the biggest indoor triathlon series ever in the history of triathlon. They made some announcements, including the results from 2018, which included the fact that 23,000 triathletes raced in their 8 outdoor races. They say this figure is 3% greater than the year before, and they attribute that success to the 63 indoor triathlons that they held over the course of the year, where they welcomed in 5,000 triathletes, over 53% of which were brand new triathletes. Now, they are expanding this indoor triathlon event series in 2019 from 63 events to 100 events, and they're going very much at that new triathlete market, hoping that it will help grow their main triathlon series. Now, I think that this is a very interesting tactic. Personally, I can see things going both ways, where Lifetime is making the sport more accessible, easier, less intimidating. What I see happening is the harder events, the Norseman Extreme, full Ironmans, half Ironmans, even Tough Mudders, Spartans, things that make people just scared but also feel really tough when they finish it. Those are the events that are growing by leaps and bounds, where I kind of find that the more accessible local triathlons are the ones that are hurting. Lifetime, prove me wrong. In any case, if you're bringing new triathletes to the sport, everyone wins. The Xterra Off-Road World Triathlon Championships happened over the weekend on the island of Maui, as it always does. Former ITU athlete, US-born and Costa Rica current resident Akerson won the men's side of the race, where Lesley Paterson, who was born in Scotland, lives in California, won for the 3rd time in her career after a 6-year absence from the tippy top of the podium. Congratulations to them both. In Ironman racing, half Ironman Waco happened over the course of the weekend, which took the place of half Ironman Austin, which I raced last year. Now, the swim was canceled. Why is this unique? Well, even though they moved from Austin to Waco, Austin was plagued with swim cancellations over and over for years on end, such that when we actually had a swim last year, it was like, holy smokes, I can't even remember the last time that they've had a swim in this race. Well, they didn't have one, so they had a time trial bike start. They still had the half marathon at the end, and Andrew Starykowicz and Chura won. Now, you might be saying, well, would these two have won if there was a swim? I think yes, very much so. Andrew Starykowicz, fantastic swimmer. Chura, unbelievable swimmer. Both of them are such good swimmers that in Ironman 70.3 Coeur d'Alene this year, when I was there, Andrew Starykowicz was announced as having the fastest male swim time, while Chura was faster than him, had the fastest overall swim time. So basically, you're taking the fastest swimmers, taking out the swim, and they still win. So congratulations to Starkey and Haley Chura. Super League Malta happened over the course of the weekend, and it was as brutal as it ever was. This is one of my favorite triathlon series all around the world with its unique format, 2-day multi-stage, but like shorter races and then the back-to-back enduro and the eliminate. Like, it's all just crazy fun to watch, and they stream it all on YouTube and Facebook. Now, I announced this last week, but I am going to be racing in Super League Singapore in February and Super League Penticton in August, and there is a link in the description below to where you can win one of 3 prizes from Super League Penticton, an entry and a flight voucher to go race there, and some of the kits worn by professional triathletes such as Jonathan Brownlee. Now in Super League Malta, Frenchman Vincent Louis won, and Katie Zaferes from the United States won on the women's side. Shout out to our buddy who just lives and hails from about 20 minutes from here, Tyler Mislachuk, who ended up on the podium in one of the events, and our pal Ben Canute, who we just posted a podcast with on the Triathlon Taren Podcast, which is still the most highly ranked triathlon podcast in the world on Apple Podcasts. Thank you very much. Stay tuned to that, because this weekend we will be posting a podcast where we have a double header with 2 Ironman ambassadors that raced in Kona this year and lost a combined 600 pounds, being Marcus Cook and El Goodall. Now let's get into everyone's favorite part of Triathlon Newsday Tuesday. That's a story from the Trainiac community, who starts by saying, "My name is Ryan Eckert. The sport of triathlon has been the driving force behind my comeback from a lifelong battle with depression, which began as a child and seemed to only get worse as I got older. I was self-conscious, extremely hard on myself, and I didn't understand how to deal with the negative thoughts that flowed through my mind on a daily basis. My depression got worse as my first few years of college went by, reaching its peak right before the start of my junior year. I couldn't take the pain and found myself nearly ready to end my life one night during the summer of 2013. Luckily, I called for help and subsequently spent some time in the hospital learning how to begin the recovery process. But I still felt empty despite the steady progress I was seeing. I'd grown up playing sports and I found myself eager to be an athlete again. I'd be running to keep in shape and cycling back and forth to school and work after I got out of the hospital, and I figured I was only one sport away from triathlon, so I made the decision to learn how to swim. The beginning of my journey as a triathlete was pretty rough, but I completed my first sprint, Olympic, and half Ironman all in 2015, crossing the finish line of Ironman 70.3 Arizona, he's from Arizona, in October 2015 was one of the greatest feelings I've ever experienced in my life and left me wanting more in the sport. I've since adopted a passion for triathlon and have long-term goals of qualifying for Kona. Triathlon is so challenging and it forces me to learn more about myself, including how strong I truly am, which was something I didn't learn in the first 20 years of my life. I've been able to continue on an upward trajectory ever since getting out of the hospital in 2013 after nearly ending my life, and triathlon has been a huge part of this success. I'm continuously amazed with the incredible people that make up the triathlon community, and have found you, Taren, to certainly be one of those incredible people." Now, he says a lot else, but second. I actually met Ryan at Half Ironman Boulder, and he told me that he was sending me this book, and good for me because I only check the P.O. box that this got sent to about twice every single year. So I just got it today, coincidentally, and seeing his story here and how he's got through it and actually meeting him in Boulder, it kind of puts it all into perspective. The guy was really nice to talk to. Can't wait to dive into this. It's a nice short little read, so I don't know, I think it's a very nice story that we hear these stories from Trainiacs all the time that get over weight issues or surgery or major health issues or depression like Ryan. And this is just a reminder that triathlon can improve all of our lives in so many different ways. And I'm really happy that Ryan has been willing to share that because it's an awesome sport and more people need to be a part of it. So there we go. Thank you very much for sending in your story, Ryan. If you want your story shared here on Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, email me at Taren@triathlontaren.com. If you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. And if you are subscribed, or even if you're not subscribed, hit that link in the description below to go enter the giveaway and potentially come race with me at Super League Penticton this year, or just get some of the skivvies that were worn by professional triathletes in Super League events. Bleeding eyeballs! Later, Trainiacs.